There's a like on the video, but it didn't show anybody's here, so that must be a mystery. This one's probably going to be a little bit shorter than usual. I'm still having phone issues. What's up, Brett? I just don't have enough time when I get home from work to get my phone to charge long enough to have a good charge on it. And I don't have any way to charge it in the car because the charger port is broken on my phone and the port in my car is broken as well. And then at work, I don't have a way to charge it because I have to use this flat thing and I can't risk forgetting it there. Commented and liked early. There you go. Attaboy. We're getting some folks in here now. So we'll pull out some snakes in a few minutes. Just a couple of things, obviously, still, even though the mite situation is quote unquote under control, still being careful. What's going on? Oh no, Selena's here. There goes the neighborhood. You being good about the notification? Oh, YouTube is, yeah. Oh, Laura's here. Welcome. So yeah, we have that mostly under control, but I'm still being careful about who I touch. Hello, guys. Good evening, Lori. I saw you commented back, but I didn't get a chance to read it. But I'm sure it's something telling me how stupid I was for keeping Venomous in that. More like the parties here. Yeah, okay, maybe now. Living that single life. You got guys on Facebook trying to lock you in sex dungeons. I don't know what's up with that. That was fucking crazy. People are wild. I don't know. That's the internet for you, though. All right, let's see. It was very creepy. Ball python keepers are never a party. Selena has some other stuff, too, I think. Don't you have a king snake or something? I think there's something else over there. I don't know. Yeah, I have had some people obviously creep me out over the years. Selena, in particular, you know, one very well that creeped the shit out of me. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. Today is probably the first day I don't feel overly congested. You know, I wasn't choking as I was trying to do my morning workout today, so that was nice. But yeah, it's been pretty brutal. No, not that you're a huge creep. I was talking about what's her name there, the blonde one that said I was her favorite porn category, and I literally had a fight with that other girl over me, even though neither one of them had ever met me. Lauren, I think her name was, the blonde chick, one that was catfishing everybody. Yeah, that one. Oh, she's the only person I think that's truly made me want to lock my doors and maybe get like a different alarm system. What's up, man? Welcome. You did say you might make it in here today. So a lot of the members, we had a members only live video for a couple hours last night. So a lot of these guys were here last night. So we pulled out some snakes. They'll probably see some of the same stuff today. Because like I said, I'm going through very limited animals right now that I feel, you know, either haven't had any mite issues at all or, you know, have been clean for a period of time where I feel comfortable. Still sanitizing between them, of course. But, you know, everything in here has been treated, every single cage, all the substrate, the animals. So I the floors, I mean, the door jams. I went absolutely crazy. Especially because I have no idea where the things came from. So I figured it was good to take the crazy approach. Oh, I am certain. I worked all day, then came home, did a few things, so I really haven't gone through many cages in here. I am sure there is a shit somewhere. I need to actually treat more paper. I only have this little stack left here because I want to go through and do the whole ARS rack again, and then I want to do all the adults again. So I need to try to treat some more paper on my lunch break tomorrow at work because I have enough here to do, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got about enough to do 10 of those tubs, you know, which will get me to about there. So it's not even halfway. So I've got to take my lunch break tomorrow and do that to get things together. Nice shirt, thank you. Ironically, Garrett, I'm assuming, is probably still alive, although he usually wraps up around this time, give or take. So I did definitely find some irony in that today that I had that shirt on, and I'm like, I'm probably going to be live at the same time that he is. That's why I try to do 7 o'clock or later if it's on Wednesdays. And if it's like a uploaded video, I do like 7:15, 7:30. Try to stay as far out of his window as I can. You know, not that he owns the whole internet or anything, but I just feel like why, you know, we all have limited niche as it is, so it's best to not be competing and have people's attention split over that stuff. So, what do you guys have, you know, anybody have any ideas, stuff we can do for some videos that maybe we haven't covered yet? Questions you have, things you want to talk about, you know, what do you got? Fire away before we start pulling some stuff out here. Anything that I missed? King, gopher, boa, gecko, scorpion. Da, 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 da. Oh, you're at the gym. There you go. I haven't been to the gym in since 2016, December of 2016, but I do pay my monthly membership every month. Every month, I contribute what my old coworker, rest his soul, used to call the fat tax. Every 1,000 views blood python giveaway. First of all, if you had any idea how little money I make for 1,000 views, if I get 1,000 views and everybody's watching the ads and not skipping them, I'll make like maybe $6. Maybe. That's with a good CPM and good numbers. Depending on the type of content, how much the advertisers will pay. So if I was giving away a blood python every time that I made $6, I would be in a much deeper hole than I already am. Going through your old videos, so I don't ask for repeats. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. Yeah, the ad revenue on YouTube is not very significant. So 1,000 views seems wonderful, but that's not enough to give away a blood python. Maybe every like 100,000 views, and even that's pushing it, depending on the blood python. Because we know you're gonna want GoldenEye stuff, so you're talking now. You got to get like 1 million views before we start giving that away. But yeah, so really the income on the channel comes from super chats and comes from the membership area. The membership area is definitely the one that irritates me the most, though, because YouTube takes a cut of that. I get the super chats, I get the ad revenue, but taking 30% of the membership fees doesn't make a lot of sense to me because YouTube is offering nothing for that platform. That's everything that I offer. So that one annoys me a little bit to lose 30%, but so be it. You guys are great that are in there. Much appreciated. Oh, shit. Here comes Tim with that Canadian money. Spends the same, sort of. Favorite new morph, something someone else is working on. Combos you might be interesting that haven't been done before. So last night in the members only, we talked a little bit with the Borneos that I was thinking about trying to make some Blue Ghost side swipes, and we talked about how tragic basically that project has been thus far. With the Blue Ghost stuff just really not doing well. You know, there's known issues with it anyways, but I tried outcrossing to see how that would do. It really didn't seem to work too well. T negative or T positive for bloods? Obviously T positive. No question there. I don't own anything T negative. I don't see a scenario where I will own anything T negative. Everything that I have here for blood pythons is either T positive, het T positive, with the exception of Big Red. She's the only one that's not. Of course, Laura's going to say T negative. Just note she's wrong. So anyways, as far as don't lie to these nice people, GEs and variations will probably be my main focus. Okay, so favorite new morphs. I don't know if I have a new morph that, like, you know, has really drove me wild or anything like that. Rich Crowley just hatched some stuff that looks pretty cool. I'm not even sure what's going on with that. It's kind of like granity, marbly, but it's blood pythons, and those look pretty interesting. I'm wrong. Um, so I'm interested to see what is going on with that project and what he's looking to do with it. Like Rich, tremendous amount, so it'll be interesting. The WNY, I'm probably not going to do much in the way of shows. I don't expect to have anything available this year. So at this point, I don't see myself going out to that one. That one's a really long drive for me. So I did do that show once before. Basically, more or less broke even on that endeavor. Come to Daytona. Daytona is in like August in Florida. Why? Like, why? Florida is too hot in March. But no way, shape, or form do I want to be down south at that time of year. They're out of their mind with that shit. You guys are flying with these questions. I still haven't even finished answering Tim's here. Let me scroll back up and see what parts I haven't finished. Something might be anything I haven't done. Something someone else. I guess I really did kind of answer all of that with Rich's thing there, and with the discussion we had last night about the Blue Ghost side swipes, which I'm not even sure what they would look like or how it would work. I'll give you $100. $100 won't even pay for the trip. You've got me over here giving away blood pythons at a loss. Now you're going to give me $100 to spend $600 to go sweat to death in Florida. In August, take me to Canada. Maybe not Canada, let's be honest. Maine, close enough. But take me somewhere cold. Man, it's funny today. I took a screenshot of the text my coworker sent me. He sent me a text that basically said, it's fucking nasty outside. I'm not ready for this bullshit. I hate summer. And the best part to me is, because everybody always gives me shit, he's from Texas and he hates summer here. Summer here is miserable. It's just so fucking humid. And it was nasty humid today. I mean, I am soaked in sweat. It's just disgusting. Even with the AC on in the truck, it's not enough. I am not a summer fan at all. I am ready for snow. What about Tinley? Yes, I've been to Tinley 3 or 4 times. I don't remember how many times, but 3 or 4. Yeah, it is pouring in cold there. See, that's nice. That's where I need to be. So if you move out of there, I'll go up there. But yeah, so Tinley, Tinley's a good time. I really enjoy Tinley. The show they're doing during the summer, they kind of switched around the dates. Is at a different venue. I don't think I'll be going to that one. I have no plans to. The one in October, if that one happens as scheduled. And it all depends on how Illinois is. If Illinois is gonna require masks, I'm not gonna go. I'm not walking around in a room full of people sweating and not being able to breathe. That's just not what sounds entertaining to me at all. So as much as I love the show and love seeing everybody, if Illinois is still being totally crazy, that's not going to happen. Connecticut actually just lifted theirs today. Thank God. I can actually go places again like a human being, so I'm excited about that. So I don't know. I haven't checked on Tinley lately to see if everything's a go. But yeah, if October is gonna be good. Hamburg in August is one of the worst shows ever. It's so disgusting in there. It's so hot. 75% of the people in that room do not know how to spell deodorant. It is awful. Anybody that's ever been to Hamburg in August understands that. It smells like the dirtiest locker room of all time. So let's put it locked down. Yeah, well, we're down to the point where they're testing a ton of people, and it's like right around 1% are coming back positive. So it's super, super low. Connecticut did really good overall, other than at the beginning of COVID, all the people came out of New York City and ran into Connecticut and brought COVID here really bad. So it went rampant in the beginning, and then Connecticut got it under control pretty quickly. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. It's annoying how like spooked everybody is about the whole thing. And everybody has their opinions on stuff and whatever else, but the science, it's really not that dangerous to the average person. So, you know, I don't really worry about it much. I only have one person in my life at all that, you know, is health compromised anyway. That's my landlord. She's 93, and she's not really health compromised. She's 93 years old. So I have been dropping my rent off to her granddaughter for the last few months just to be safe. Well, actually, like the last probably 8 months now or something, just to be safe. But hopefully, I'll be able to pop over there soon and see her, because this is the longest I've ever gone without talking to her in the last like 13 years. So it's weird to me. Usually, every time I drop off my rent, we have like a half hour conversation about life, things, whatever. I love talking to people that have been around for a long time, seen a lot of things. She's very well educated. She's very got a nice balance of like forward thinking, but also, you know, some classic values and things like that. So I enjoy having conversations with her. And I'm not close with any of my family, so she's like the closest thing to a grandmother that I have. I mean, both my grandmothers are dead anyways, but I didn't really have much of a relationship. I didn't have any relationship with one of them, and one of them lived in Florida, so I never really saw her much. So Hamburg used to have a lot of hot stuff. Now, like every other show, it's a lot of ball pythons. Hamburg, like 10, 15 years ago, was an awesome show. It's still not bad, but it's not what it used to be for sure. Reptile shows in general now are not as exciting as they used to be, in my opinion. If you have doggos, a dog video would be cool. There is actually a dog video on my channel. If you go back, I introduced my new dog when I got her, which was about a year ago. And then she's been on some of the members only videos. One of them in particular, she was in quite a bit. Yeah, every show is just ball pythons now, and it stinks. And I think even for people that are into ball pythons, it has to be a drag eventually, because you go to a show to see cool things that you don't see every day. So I do like, there are some shows out there that are working to try to get more variety, you know, by inviting people that maybe normally wouldn't get in, limiting the number of vendors with the same type of stuff. And of course, people get mad about that. But I mean, variety is the spice of life, and you want to attract all kinds of people to shows, and you want to give them a chance to be wowed and maybe, you know, get into the hobby that aren't into the hobby. So you want them to see stuff that might interest them. So I think variety is really good. So I appreciate those shows that are doing stuff like that. Like, everything, I gotta show up, everything is the same. Yeah, I mean, shows are cool, and shows have their drawbacks. I mean, you have to worry about parasites. You have to worry about, now obviously with the COVID thing, you got that, you know, depending on your level of worry there. Not to mention, you know, like I said, you get in some of these rooms and it's hot. There's a bunch of people. It stinks. You're bumping into people every few inches. You can't move. Then the other thing from like a vendor's perspective that's really annoying is customers can't see your table because people crowd around, get in the way, that aren't interested in purchasing anything, that are just kind of there. People bring their kids there just to do something with their kids, which is cool in a sense, because maybe you get those kids into reptiles or whatever it is. But from a vendor standpoint, it can be frustrating because now your customers can't, you know, see your stuff, and you're losing potential sales because of how crowded some of these shows are and whatever else. Thank you for the olive python videos. There's not much out there on them. Yeah, I find most of my olive python videos do pretty well. There's a lot of great videos from the K brothers, but they don't really do much in the way of videos anymore, and I'm not even sure how much they're keeping. I haven't seen anything from them in quite some time. But outside of that, yeah, there's not a lot. And you think about some of the people that work with olive pythons, I don't know many of them that do a lot of public forum stuff. So I'll have to try to get them outside a little bit more this year and do some stuff with them. My female loves going outside. I was hoping to get some eggs from her, so I haven't taken her out yet. But if I don't see anything from her within the next month, then maybe I can start pulling her outside. Because she'll hang out there all day. She's very good outside. And the male did really great taking him out this year. So, you know, I think there's some some hope there. Let's see what we got. Let's start messing with some snakes here. Oh, and in case you guys haven't seen yet, I showed these guys last night. They just came in yesterday. Just got some new stickers there with the new design. Little 3x3s from Sticker Mule. Nice quality stickers. You know, you can't really tell the quality, but they're pretty good with the new design on there. So I have those available. Maybe we'll give some away in here. Figure something out to do. Really? Really? So you guys are my witness who were here last night, because you know I cleaned all these tubs last night. And this one already peed and dumped water. Soaked. One of the Sumatran shorttails from this past season. And the kinked baby actually got the rest of that shed off last night. Rinsed him down a little bit, changed the water, and it didn't shit. It just absolutely flooded the tub. You know, which I don't think you'll be able to see. You can see maybe a little, all that water. So I'll have to clean that up after. Nice thing about shorttails is, as long as it's not dirty and wet, they're usually okay. Let me grab the other guy out. Now this rack has never had mites, knock on wood, so it's still got treated. Now this one went to the bathroom, the kinked one, so he's gonna have to be cleaned. Just urates, but solid ones. But yeah, you guys remember seeing that piece of shed on him last night? He got that off on his own, so that was good. That gives me a little bit more hope for him to be able to do that. But he's eating fantastic. He's growing nicely. Now he's shed. So as much as I hate that kink, he seems to be handling it well. At one point, he did have an issue where like he had kind of rubbed on the edge there. But that's healed up nicely, and he hasn't done that again since. So the only thing that I've noticed at all from, and I can't even say it's a quality of life issue per se, but the only thing that he like is really terrible at is striking food. So he will typically miss a time or two, but he'll drop feed, so you can just put it in there and he'll come and eat it. So, you know, he's eating on his own. He hatched and pipped on his own. So to me, he wants to live. I don't see any reason to take him out of commission and pith him just because of the kink. He's obviously passing food. Now he's been able to shed. He's doing everything he needs to do. He's checking every box. And like I said, the fact that snake pipped and hatched with a kink there, I was very impressed. He didn't pip out the top of the egg. He came out the side, which is the first time I've ever seen that. Because I separate all my eggs. When you have them in a clump, you might see them pip from different places because they have to. But I always separate them and have the top, you know, have everything set up vertical, so they always come out, except for him. But happy he's doing well. What's up, Anthony? What'd you think of the black shirt? It's hard to tell from your picture. So what do you think of it in person? Do you like the black on black? Is it something that looks nice? Because I am thinking about buying that one for myself if that's the case. That's the thing that definitely drives me nuts too. Like all my friends are like, oh, give me a shirt. It's like, I have to buy my own. I get one for myself, you know? That's just the way it goes through the site. So the only thing is I don't pay what I make on the shirt. So I just get it at what you would call cost, but it's not cheap. It's like $3 less. Wow, I just learned what drop feed meant. It makes sense. Wow, I'm a little slow sometimes. Sometimes? But yeah, that's just leaving the food in there and letting them eat it on their own. Tremendous. Every time you say that, I think of Secretariat. We already talked about the olive python stuff. I like ball pythons a lot, but I hate the ball python breeding scene. Ball python bros is kind of gross. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the case with a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff is not necessarily uncool by itself, but the community makes it worse. And that's one of the things I like about the short tails is the community is actually a plus. You know, with the ball pythons, the community definitely can be a drawback. There are some wonderful people in it. And you know, there's some ball pythons out there that are amazing looking. They don't do anything for me per se. I just don't care for the personality of the snakes, if you will. I like stuff that kind of I just feel like is on a little bit more of an intelligence level, and a little more interactive, a little more confident. Is typically what I appreciate in snakes, and most of them kind of fall on the other end of the spectrum for me. So I never really enjoyed keeping them as like a pet. So if I was going to get a snake just to breed, I guess they could be in that category, but there's so many people breeding them that there's no point to doing that. So everything that I keep and I'm working with is stuff that I like to work with. And yes, my white lip female, you know, kicks my ass and drives me nuts sometimes, but I still like working with the white lips. Hi, Ray. How you doing? I love Raiden. She's got so much personality. She has as much personality as any short tail I have. She's gotten a little bit more difficult to handle as she's gotten older. She really doesn't want to be handled. She'll let me like move her to clean, and even that has a clock on it now, and she'll let me take her outside for a little bit, but she wants to be off on her own. But as far as a snake that's always alert, always paying attention, she's awesome. Welcome, Mr. Timothy. You are finally catching a live. It's going to be a fairly short-lived one. Once I see that 20% battery, we'll know. Blue is Atlas's color. I liked it on the black that I have on his shirt. I like that shirt. And I didn't see what you say. You think so? So yeah, I'm probably going to make the jump and get that one to get that shirt. And there's a link in the bio here if you guys are interested in looking at some of the shirt designs. There's 3 designs up. One of them's up twice because it comes with either a background or no background. The one that says background comes with the white background you see. The one that says no background is just the picture. You have to imagine the white's not there, and that's going to be whatever color shirt you pick. So Mike did the black on black with the Sumatran design, which I didn't think was going to show up that well. But apparently it does. So now I think I'm going to have to order it, and then you guys can see it on the channel at some point once I do that. And then I got to send out a shirt to Austin, who won a shirt. When I posted the video about the South Carolina thing going on and asked everybody to get in touch with the South Carolina people and make sure that that didn't pass, I offered to give away 2 shirts to everybody that emailed me and showed that they had sent those things, and Austin was the only person that did it. So by default, he won the shirt and saved me from giving away another one. Maybe if one day these live videos start picking up with the super chats, then I can start giving away more stuff. You know, if it gets up to where there's like, you know, $60, $70 worth of super chats, I can give away a shirt and come out pretty much even. By the time YouTube takes their fees, I pay for the shirt and the shipping and all that. So that could be something that could happen in the future if we get that going enough. I'm also going to look too, I thought something that might be cool to give away is like poster prints of some of the pictures of the snakes or something. So I'll look into that too. But all that stuff, you know, hinges on how well the channel does. And right now the channel is not doing well. So it's hard to give stuff away when I'm already kind of losing money hand over fist. I have 2 ball pythons right now. I love them, but unfortunately I always prefer a larger snake. Love my Burmese python. Unfortunately I love reticulated pythons, but they're illegal in Connecticut. Yeah, Connecticut really does suck from a law standpoint, which is why I was actually trying to move to South Carolina, but now all of a sudden South Carolina's gotten real sketchy. So I think that's kind of off the radar right now. Even though I don't think this latest stuff passed, still the amount of legislation and the ways they're trying to sneak this legislation in makes me really nervous to pick up and move my whole life there and then be where I'm at now. Yeah, see, New Hampshire scares the shit out of me. New Hampshire's reasonable, but New Hampshire is surrounded on every single side by a state that's not. And so you have to wonder how much time before that pressure from everywhere around gets to New Hampshire. And I truly believe the only reason that New Hampshire isn't as bad as the rest of the New England states is because Kevin is there and how much Kevin does and how much he advocates and fights. And, you know, like I always say, I know there's some people that don't particularly like Kevin or don't like Nerd or whatever, but the fact of the matter is that he doesn't just ask other people to get involved. He's involved on every level that you can be involved on and trying to, you know, weed out shitty legislation and trying to help the community and do all of that. So he does a lot of that stuff. He goes to those committee meetings. He goes and talks to these representatives. He meets with them if they let them. He does conservation work out of state, in state. You know, he has scientific papers and things that he's helped with that are published, and he does a lot. So his contributions don't go unnoticed, and hopefully people recognize that. But I think that's the only reason why New Hampshire isn't worse than it is, because Maine is bad, Massachusetts is bad, Rhode Island is bad, Connecticut's bad, Vermont is bad. How many clutches do you normally have in a year? It really varies quite a bit. This year might be 0 or 1, which would be the first time ever that I don't get anything if I don't get anything this year. But as I talked about last night with you guys, that's really on me this year, just not really being focused where I needed to be focused. But typically my goal is anywhere from 3 to a maximum of like 8. Beyond that, with short tails and the size of the clutches, it's just too many babies and it gets to not be joyful anymore. Now, if I was doing snakes and YouTube and that kind of stuff full time and not working a regular job, then I might be tempted to do 10 or 12 clutches a year. Maybe push as high as like 13, 14 if I'm getting a variety of stuff. You know, I don't want to do 8 clutches of the same species in a year, you know. But if I can get different stuff. Hello, Tyrone. Welcome. So if I can get a variety of stuff, then no, I don't mind doing a little bit more clutches. But babies are a lot of work. Not that any snakes aren't a lot of work, but babies go to the bathroom a lot. They're flipping water all the time. You know, so you're cleaning baby racks. You know, baby snakes, you're probably cleaning a minimum of twice a week. So if you have 150 snakes, that's 300 cage cleanings just for the babies. That doesn't include all the adults you've got to scrub out, 6-foot cages you're climbing inside of to scrub, thawing food, feeding trials. With babies, you got to keep records because people want that stuff. And then not to mention, once it gets to the point of selling, you're answering emails, you're answering questions. And, you know, you think about some of you have been sellers or been buyers. You'll have one customer that might monopolize hours and hours and hours of your time. And now you've got 100 and something snakes for sale. So you're probably going to answer, you know, 5,000 messages before all those snakes are sold. So it takes up a lot of time. And so doing large numbers when you're already working a full-time job plus overtime plus commuting plus, you know, I'm the only one in the household. So I'm cleaning the house. I'm doing yard work. I'm doing the grocery shopping. All that kind of stuff. I'm cooking the meals. Like there's just not a lot of downtime. So having that many babies is very stressful. The most babies that I hatched in a season was about 120, and I wanted to absolutely hang myself that year. That was about the most I think that I would want to do right now. Somewhere in the realm of like 50 babies is good. It's enough to have the season worthwhile. Hell yeah, New Hampshire's been where I've wanted to go for a while, in my opinion, with Kevin there to help fight. Yeah, it is the safest place right now, but I know that Kevin has thought about in the past about moving. So if he ever does that, it will be a little scary. What's my thought on Super Balls? I do not like hybrids. So I will leave it at that because I don't want to go into a stream of negativity. Super Balls are better than breeding like blood python to a short tail python, but I'm just not a fan at all. I think they're uglier than ball pythons and uglier than blood pythons and short tails. So I don't see the purpose in it to make an uglier combination of the two. Not to mention, it worries me that you're taking two snakes with very different husbandry from very different parts of the world that would never, ever, ever interact or find each other. And so how do you properly take care of that snake? Is the humidity requirements that of a ball python? Is it that of a short tail? If you go too high or too low, is the animal going to get sick? What's the longevity going to look like? I don't see a lot of very old hybrids out there. So I feel like that's definitely an issue. Not to mention the fertility issues that come with a lot of these hybridizations. As I said, I wasn't going to go into all this, and now I'm going into it. But, there's a lot of fertility issues, and you don't see a lot of viability, and so I don't like to do projects like that. I'm even having second thoughts on the blue ghost, which is still pure within a species. But I just don't like the fertility that I've seen thus far with that, and so if that continues, I would cease that project. But I definitely have no interest in making hybrids ever. What species have I bred? Obviously blood pythons, the Curtis, the Sumatran shorttails, the Borneo shorttails. I'm working on the olive pythons, but to date I haven't had success with them. Possibly next year I'll try the white lips if I feel like everything's ready. The male needs to put on size. The female is massive, and the male's, he's a decent size, but he's so small compared to her that I just feel like she'll kill him. I feel like she's going to kill him no matter what, but definitely him being that small, I really feel like she's going to kill him and try to eat him. I sort of bred water pythons way back in the day, around like 2006, 2007. And I say sort of because I bred them. The female took. Life kind of punched me in the face, and I had to sell her gravid to somebody where she laid her eggs and he hatched them out. So technically I did the breeding, but I didn't go all the way through the process and hatch those out. So that's kind of an asterisk. Oh, and I did ball pythons too for a few years. Mostly for someone else I bred ball pythons. I did have a few of my own that I bred. I always liked ghost stuff. So I had a little ghost project going. I had a... what did I have? I had a female honeybee. And then I had a pair of pastel ghosts. And then I had just a pastel female as well that somebody gave me. That I eventually worked into the breeding project. And I bred all three of those females. I got a clutch from all three of them. Got some wonderful babies. I hatched out some really cool ghost stuff with those animals. But ball pythons were just not my passion. And I was breeding somebody else's collection of ball pythons for a few years, and I figured, well, if I'm breeding somebody else's and doing all this work and dealing with ball pythons, I might as well have a few of my own. So I got a project for myself, so I'd have some babies to sell that just everything was mine instead of splitting stuff. So I had that project, and that's the only auction I ever did. I tried doing an auction. I auctioned off a honeybee, I think it was. I'm not a ball python person, so I think that was a spider ghost, and it worked out. He went to a great home, somebody that I became friends with now, and he is just an absolutely stunning animal. Even as an adult, he got nicer, and I hatched out a couple of humblebees that were really smoking. I have some pictures still on my phone of some of that stuff because I liked them so much. Anytime you have democratic states, it really does equal mass legislation. Probably why I switched my political party. Yeah, I understand that too. As somebody who is still registered as a Democrat, I don't vote Democrat very much anymore because of that issue. The party has changed so much over the course of the last 20 years especially, but really over the last few decades, and now it's gotten to the point where they just don't want you to have any personal freedom at all. They basically try to restrict everything, and there is some bipartisan legislation that fucks us right now, but by and large, the vast majority of it comes from that direction. So, I think this past election, I only voted for... Well, technically, I sort of voted for two Democrats within there. One was a straight-up Democrat. The other one was running as a Democrat and an independent, so I voted for them on the independent ticket. but they're definitely Democratic leaning. But I know both of those people. Neither one of them have any interest in pushing through any legislation against us. And I liked them a lot better than the Republican option on those particular tickets. And so that's where I went. Late but finally caught alive. There you go. Are you still working with the White Lips? Yeah, I was just mentioning that. I'm going to try and maybe pair them up. The females calmed down a little bit. I'm starting to feed her heavier. I'm going to feed her pretty heavy through the summer. You know, I say pretty heavy, but it's still not heavy. Just heavy compared to what I've been feeding her. I'm going to get a little bit of weight on her. Now she's had a few years in that room, in that cage, to figure out her cycle. I may try to ultrasound her before I pair them up and really make sure that I'm pairing her up at the opportune moment. Just give myself not only the best chance of success of anything viable, but to have her be at her maximum level of receptive so she's less likely to hurt him. Because that's my greatest fear. I love him. Like, I don't want her to kill him or hurt him. And White Lips can definitely be very dicey. One thing to mention while you guys are in here, those of you that follow the community page I've been mentioning a lot, the algorithms on YouTube control everything. The success and failure of this channel depends on you guys. You know, I could make the best videos in the world. If they get buried in the algorithm, it doesn't matter. I'm not saying that I do. So just make sure if you're watching the videos and you like them, you hit the like button. If you don't like them, you can thumbs them down. And leave a comment. Doesn't have to be anything earth-shattering. It can just be, hey. It can be, what's up? How you doing? The sky is blue. I have a bigger left toe than a right. I don't care what it says. You know, I try to go on there and acknowledge every comment, every single one. Every once in a while, somebody says something truly so baffling and stupid that I have to just let it go. But by and large, I do answer pretty much everything. And on occasion, YouTube does not show me notifications, so I do try to go through recent videos and just scroll. Just hit our 20% battery, so once we get down to 10%, we'll start wrapping up. So we got a little bit of time there. But yeah, so I just really need your guys' help with that. This video, for instance, if you haven't liked this video, hit like on there. I see 18 of you have, which is wonderful. Appreciate that. Because that literally makes all the difference. The engagement and how long you watch the videos matters for YouTube, and not skipping ads matters to me, which I just learned recently. I didn't know, but if you're skipping the ads, then I'm not getting the revenue from them. Brave of you to offer political opinions. I'm not really, I wasn't offering a political opinion per se. I mean, the fact that most of that legislation comes from the Democratic Party, I mean, you could research it. It's there. It's not an opinion, it's a fact. I know people get upset about that, but I don't understand why you get upset about it. It's a fact. Like, I can't help it. It's just is what it is. As far as saying what I voted or how I vote, I mean, I guess essentially that's an opinion, but I'm not telling anybody that they have to live their life the same. I just care about this hobby, and so I have to, every single vote that I make has to be towards somebody that I think is going to be the best for us. So sometimes I'm voting for people that I might not like them personally. I might not like some of their views. I might not like some of their legislation in other categories. But this is the most important category to me. And so that is the one that I vote around. You know, and I've been fortunate. I played trivia with some of the local guys here that do stuff. So I've been able to have conversations with them about this kind of stuff and see where their head's at on it. And of course, they're politicians, so they'll tell you one thing and do the other no matter who they are. But when you look somebody in the eye, you can kind of figure out how much they really care. Maybe a dumb question. I'm sure it is. Let's have a look. Oh, where'd it go? Do you do like pre-intros before breeding just to see how they react? Yes, so I do with my short tails. If I have a pairing in mind, for, say, a pairing in mind for the 2022 season. In 2021, I might put that pair together when the male's young. And not so much just to see how they get along, but just to get him used to the larger space, to get them used to sharing space with one another. And the reason I try to match it up based on the pairing that I'm intending is so that if they do breed, I'm not getting a pairing that I didn't want. I'm getting what I wanted. And so that means that the female has to be in shape to go. That means that I want the male to be old enough and her to be in good enough shape to where if they do something, it's viable. I don't want her to slug out and waste 2 years and all that energy on her body for nothing. So my goal is healthy, viable clutches, but I will introduce the male sometimes the season before where I think they're on the fence and let them get their feet wet, so to speak. With the white lips, I think chances are I will probably put the other one shed in their cages, see how they interact with that. At some point, I want to get them both outside at the same time and kind of let them be in a controlled environment where I'm there to intervene. Not even necessarily let them go up to each other and touch each other, but let them be aware that the other's there and see how their body language is. See if, like my olive python, I've had her out when I've had a short tail outside before, and I could tell that she would kill that snake if she got close enough to it. You could see how amped she got. Everything about her body language was like she felt like something was violating her space and she was going to go after it. And so obviously I got the short tail out of there. I wasn't going to let them interact anyways, but I just happened to have them both outside at the same time, and she was just a totally different animal sensing that presence. So I'll do that, and then ultimately what I'd like to do is get some kind of hide, like maybe a 32 quart tub with a hole in it or a couple holes in it where the male can fit but she can't, so that he can get away from her. And two, I want to set it up where I can put him in there in that container in her cage first. I saw Scott Borden do this with his white lips, where he put the male in, which it turned out his were missexed and the female was the male and the male was the female. So he ended up putting the female into the male's cage. But anyways, he was intending to put the male in there in a container for a couple days and then let him out. So they were kind of immersed in each other and had a chance to kind of interact a little bit that way. What's up with all these live feedings lately? Oops, hold on. I tried to click on the comment and it went away. I mean, I don't know. I don't like live feeding. I never have. I don't even like live feeding at all, but I definitely don't like live feeding videos. And don't take that the wrong way. It doesn't mean like if you feed live, I'm like, what a shitty human being. You feed what you feed. It's your business. It's not mine. I don't like feeding my snakes live. Every single animal in this room eats frozen thawed or pre-killed. But, so I don't know. A lot of it is new keepers. New keepers just for whatever reason find it exciting. And the fact is, it sells. If I were to sit here and do a live feeding video, it would probably get more views than any video on my channel. And that's frustrating. And so people sell out. Even people that behind the scenes will say, I'm not a big fan of it, will do it for the money. And as much as my channel's hurting, and as much it would be nice to get some more revenue coming in, and to see all that, I just can't do that. I can't sacrifice certain morals just to, try to stay afloat. That doesn't work for me. Let's say I own a bunch of Burmese I've had in the past. I've never once fed mine. Yeah, I mean, I don't like watching it either, and that's what I don't understand. And you constantly get into these debates with people where they're like, well, it's nature. But it's not nature. I've never seen a Christmas tree tub in the wild that has a snake in it that's artificially heated, that's a snake from Southeast Asia that's eating a rat from fucking Norway. I don't know what nature programs you're watching where that happens. Where a person comes into nature, turns on the radiant heat panel, turns on the lighting, changes the substrate. Like, that's not the nature I know. So yes, I understand that predators eat prey. And I will sit there and watch any nature program you can find of predators hunting prey. Watching lions hunt zebra and gazelle and cheetahs running down stuff, and crocodiles hunting is one of the coolest things ever. Whether it be when the wildebeest are crossing and they're overtaking them in the water, or whether it's at the water's edge, that stuff is awesome. But that's a chess match between a predator and prey, and each is constantly evolving and learning how to counter the other, and they keep having to one up each other in order to survive. So it's totally different than, you know, what essentially is. It's no different than like if you went out hiking in the woods and you hunted down a bear with a bow and arrow. That's a lot different than somebody standing in the back of a truck in Texas with a bear that's in a cage and them shooting it in a canned hunt. It's not the same. You know, the bear in the cage has no chance of getting away. The bear in the wild, you know, yeah, you've evolved with all these advantages to hunt them, but they can still detect your scent. They can still hear you coming. They still have all these methods in order to elude you. And, you know, we are at a little bit of advantage with the intelligence and with some of the technology that we have and things now, but it's still a lot more fair than that canned hunt. So I don't understand that logic, and I never will. As far as the tattoo goes, so this snake right here was Roxanne, my rock python, and she was the kind of reason for making this tattoo. And actually my current rock python, it's hard to see in the camera here. Where the hell is she? Let me look on my arm. She's right there. That's her head coming down. And then that was my monocled cobra, and there's a few other snakes in here. There's actually a ball python on here somewhere. Where the hell's the ball python? Oh, let me turn. The ball python is right there. The tattoo artist, I let him pick some of the snakes that were on here. He kept snakes as well. So I said, you know, pick some stuff you like too. I said, you know, I want you to be into a tattoo. You have to do it. I've always felt with tattoos that, you know, yes, it's on my body. So I wanted Medusa. I figured it was a cool way to tie in a bunch of snakes and make it make sense. And, you know, have her as the center for the memorial. But I've always felt like if a tattoo artist has some personal touches in there that they like, they're that much apt to put a little bit more effort into it and get excited about doing the tattoo. So I gave him some free reign. So there's some stuff on there that I would have never picked, but I don't mind, you know. I gave him the right to do it, and he did a great job with it. But that's where that came from and what that is. And then other than that, I've got my dog that passed away there, Russo. My Miami Dolphin, not their old symbol, but, you know, not the current one either. And then I've got, that's The Matter of Life and Death Iron Maiden album, which, you know, I was introduced to Iron Maiden in like 2004, 2005. So that was their first new album that came out in 06. And I love that album. It's got a lot of great work on it. And then I have another Eddie over there. From the Stranger in a Strange Land song. And tattoo artist who did this also did that one, and the flames were his idea. He thought that was cool, so I ran with that. So there's the little tattoo intro. See you, Tim. Do male short-tails go off feed during breeding season, or do they can stay consistent? I have never, ever had... I shouldn't say never, ever. There was one male that I had go off of food, but he went off of food often. He was just a bad eater. No, not really. Mine eat throughout the season, my males and females. I will stop the females once I see an ovulation, but sometimes if I don't catch ovulation, they'll keep eating. I've had them eat several days before they lay where I didn't realize they were gravid. Sometimes with these thicker snakes, some of them are obvious, some of them are not. My blue ghost female, I saw an ovulation. I was like certain she was gravid, and then as time went on, I'm like, she's not gravid. She's so skinny. Like there's nothing to her. She can't be gravid. Boom, she dropped 16 eggs. So what do I know? And I mean, like 3 days before she laid 16 eggs, I'm like, she's not gravid. She's not gravid. And then boom, here's this pile of eggs. So they and she kept eating. That's how I knew Sambuca was gravid one year, because she stopped eating, but she didn't stop eating until like 2 weeks before she laid. So she ate after ovulation. Another year she ate the day before she ovulated. So I was a little confused with that ovulation because she looked blown up, but I'm like, she just ate yesterday. Maybe it's just the food expanding. Just curious, why do you take the females off food when they are gravid? You know, you just don't want stuff passing by the egg mass if you can avoid it. it's just a precaution more than anything. You know, not to mention it's a time for their body systems to kind of recycle. It's got so much going on. Their organs are going through so much work with the you know, being gravid and egg development and getting ready, that I just don't want their body to have to be going through anything else. So I try to pull them off of food after that. Or if I am feeding them late, then and I'm not sure, I'll offer much smaller meals so the digestion is quicker and there's less to pass. Then also, ideally, I don't want that much waste coming out at that time because I'm trying to leave the females alone as much as I can. So the more they're eating, the more waste they're going to produce. The more waste they produce, the more often I have to disturb them and clean the cage. So I like, ideally, once they have their pre-lay shed, I'm trying to maybe clean them like twice before they lay. Obviously, if they flood the cage or do something that needs to get out of there, then I'm going to clean it. And I try my best to clean them around like day 25, 26, and then try to leave them be. But I had one girl go 52 days or whatever before she dropped, so obviously I had to get back in there and clean her. But most of mine go between like day 27 and day 36, with like day 32 to 34 being probably where most of mine tend to lay based on my hot spots and what I have going on. All right. Yeah, people power feeding anything bothers me. And with Burmese pythons, like, we literally have science that says don't do that, and people still do it. We know that their body takes 2 weeks to reset after a meal back to where it should be. So if you're feeding that animal every single week or every 10 days, its body is never, ever where it's supposed to be. It's in a constant state of elevated stress. And yes, it's stress they're designed for, but in the wild, they're not eating every 10 days. So their body really isn't built for that kind of wear and tear, and you're gonna burn them out. And that's why you see so many people's snakes dying at, 10 years old, 12 years old, 15 years old. They're not meant to live that short in captivity. So, with a Burmese python, the Burm that I have, I'll have to get him outside at some point this summer. As long as he's good to go, we'll get him out there. But he's 20 this year, and he's hopefully still got plenty of time left. He's the bane of my existence because he's a Burmese python. He has no brain function and it's just a bottomless pit. But he had the roughest go of any of my snakes with the mite thing. They hammered on him. So I wasn't sure for a while there if he was going to pull through that because they just, unleashed hell on him like I have never seen. And I treated his cage like 3 times. They wouldn't go away. I was soaking him. I was soaking him in Dawn. I was treating him with mite spray directly. I was treating the caging. I was treating the substrate. And they were just everywhere on him. And I finally have them gone, knock on wood, thus far. But it took way more. All the rest of these snakes was like 1 treatment. Things look good, maybe a second on some of them. Him, it was like 3 or 4, and they were still there, and I was getting very frustrated with it. So they beat the hell out of him. So he's a little worse for wear, but he seems all right, so hopefully he'll pull through. I was really worried at his age especially. Being 20 this year, he's not a young fella, or he might be 19 this year, but he's up there. I can't remember if he's an 01 or an 02. Let's see if I missed anything here. How are you? Oh, shit. Keisha, I'm so sorry. I read your email last night right before the members only live chat, and then I totally forgot to reply to you, so I will reply to you. I saw your message about the new animal that you got or whatever there that you were looking for help with. So I will email you back either tonight or tomorrow about that. I'm so sorry. Totally slipped my mind. I just saw your name and said, oh shit. Right now, I don't have anything at all available. I actually sold this girl today. I talked to Mike yesterday on the live stream for the members only. Mike had asked me about her for a while. She's my holdback. But, you know, with finances not being so hot, I needed to move something, and Mike really liked this girl, so we struck a deal today, and she is now his. So she's going to be going away, which makes me sad, but I know Mike will take great care of her. And, you know, we already talked about maybe me doing something with her breeding-wise in the future, if he doesn't have a male for her when the time comes. I'm sure she'll hate you too. I'm gonna do what Minatola does and throw her a sock party before she leaves, so that she comes out really, really angry. You can see, man, she's just packing on size. I think she's gonna be a really big female, which surprises me because her mom and her dad are small animals, but she's just an absolute juggernaut. Do I ship to California? Yes, I do. I don't have anything available right now, but yeah, California is not a problem at all. Only thing right now with shipping being so sketchy is that we're only shipping hub to hub, so no shipping to your door. And that's just for the safety of the animals right now, so they're not bouncing around the truck. Less risk, less issue. Seems to be a little higher rate of success doing that. Less delays. But yeah, she's an awesome snake, and definitely looking forward to seeing updates on her for Mike once she heads off. And she's much bigger than the male Mike for sure. Like I said, she's just a tank. And if she refuses food, you better worry, because I don't think she's ever refused anything. She loves her food. Those are so chill and laid back. Some of them can be a little more difficult, for sure. Thanks. I'm gonna keep my. So I won't have any more offspring from Incognito. Incognito went back to her original breeder, so she's back with Kara. Her daughters will hopefully. There's my 10% battery warning, so we're gonna have to end this probably within the next 10 minutes or so, maybe less. So Incognito is with Kara. Kara will be breeding her. She didn't breed her this season, but she probably, I'm certain she will next year, assuming she has the male that she wants lined up with him, ready to go. I've got a random hair in my mouth. But yeah, so Incognito's not here anymore. Her and Tux both went back to Kara. So Midnight Rider to Voodoo Queen or Morticia will be the pairings that will yield my darkest offspring to date. And I will hopefully have those girls ready this upcoming season. That's my goal. Black Magic and Amina should be ready to go. They're not quite as dark as those two. They're dark, but not. Morticia and Voodoo Queen are very dark. I considered Burn for a while, but I did my research and got an Olive instead. Best decision ever. Two polar opposite animals. You know, your Burmese pythons are more laid back, go with the flow, kind of a little, you know, here I am. Olive pythons will challenge you a little bit more, much more interactive, much more interested in everything going on around them. So definitely different snakes. If you had one of each, I am certain you'd have a favorite. I like the olives better myself. Obviously, even though my female likes to light me up from time to time, I still like her a great deal. Let's see what else we got going on here. Grab another snake or two before you guys get out of here. How are you looking? Hi. Hi. Speaking of Incognito, this is one of her lovely daughters here. Obviously way too young to be breeding anytime soon. But, I mean, you can see the quality that Incognito puts out, and just imagine what this snake's going to look like with another year or two on her belt. You know, she's already pretty nice now. She's just like, what are you doing, dude? I was just chilling, and all of a sudden I'm here. She's really cool though. So I'm looking forward to getting her up to size and age and seeing what I can do with her in a couple or a few years, depending on when she's ready. I think she'll be even darker than her older sisters are there. Yeah, so ideally, that's sort of been my goal, to make super dark Sumatrans with the chrome head. Sambuca is she's not super dark like that, but she's much darker than most chromes. I cannot get her to throw me a dark baby with a chrome head. So I have this female here, hi, who was more fired up last night than she is now. But she's decently dark, but she's still not dark enough. And she has a really nice chrome head. Like I said, she's not as fired up as she was yesterday. She's much less silver today. But she's, I don't want to say my replacement for Sambuca, because Sambuca's not going to go anywhere or anything like that. But Sambuca's getting up there in age where I probably won't be breeding her much anymore. So this girl, when she's of age, will be front and center on my chrome head projects. Sambuca is, God, I think like 16, 17 years old, somewhere in that realm. She's definitely all of 15, but I think she's a 2004 or 2005 animal, if I'm not mistaken. So how many clutches am I going to do with her? Probably not a lot more. Maybe one, maybe two. Fortunately, she doesn't have a lot of mileage on her for her age. She's had 3 clutches for me and 2 for Kara, so she's had 5 clutches her whole life. So she doesn't have a lot of mileage for a 15, 16, 17-year-old snake. So I feel comfortable, as long as she's healthy and doing well, to do 1 or 2 more clutches with her. And then once she's north of 20, it would be much less likely that I would do anything. We didn't really get the super chat action I was hoping for to give some stuff away, so we'll have to do that. Yeah, Quick Draw is pretty nice. That's Nixalin's. Can't remember if that's her female. I think that's the female. I think something Smoke or something is the male. I always forget. But she does have some nice ones. Oh, that one is male? Oh, I have them backwards then. Like these live chats. Friday, I'll be becoming a member. The only one that answers everybody's question, even if they're not paid subscribers, is cool. Yeah, I try to do that as best I can, which I think ultimately kind of shoots me in the foot to some extent, because people are less apt to super chat because they get their questions answered without having to do that. So I just have to rely on people appreciating the content and doing it in that way. But I also know, as somebody who's broke as shit, that not everybody can afford to do it. So that's why, if you can, go on and hit like on the videos and comment on all the videos and watch them and watch the ads, that helps too. So everything helps. I'm going to wrap this up though before my phone dies and this video gets trapped, because I've done that before and my phone is going to die. So thank you guys for tuning in. I know this isn't the most exciting live chat, but I just wanted to do something, check in with you guys a little bit. We will put something together for Saturday. Always keep an eye on the community section. I'm always trying to get input there, letting you guys know what's going on, announce things that are coming up. So yeah, the hobby is definitely keeping me broke too. I understand that wholeheartedly. I will get to your email. Again, sorry about forgetting about that. I have a couple of things I need to get to in my email. I'll get Austin's shirt out. I'm going to order myself one. I think that about wraps up business. As always, if you guys have ideas for videos, or if you see a video on the channel you really like and want me to do something similar to that again, let me know. I appreciate you guys, and we will see you this weekend. Thank you.